here's an introduction. I'm Hudson Cosper. I'm a 21-year-old millionaire. I do online business stuff. I started in high ticket sales. Now I have 2 different businesses that I run. And yeah, I make a lot of money and I post content on social media, basically like esoteric type mindset content, like how to get rich in the mind from a mindset perspective rather than a hard work perspective, because I've never really believed that hard work was the thing that got me rich. I always believed that it was my mindset. Like I believe that someone who works a lot harder and has a shit mindset is gonna go less further than someone that actually like has the best mindset in the world and knows exactly where his work's gonna take him. That just works less. So that's basically my whole like motto, that I got here for mental work, not hard physical work. And yeah, I make like 200K a month, so it's working for me.
Yes, sir. And like, how did you kind of like discover kind of like the whole esoteric mindset thing? Because like, you probably like started off like the whole like wake up at 4 a.m., fucking cold shower, like grind. How did you like figure, like what made you realize that like it's all about working smarter and not harder? And like you said that you did more mental work than physical work.
So the thing for me was always discovering, I always wanted to cheat in life. Every video game I played like growing up, I cheated in. Every sport I ever played, I found a way to cheat.
Really?
Even when I was younger, like fishing tournaments, I would cheat. So like I was always finding a way, and that's like not ethical to a lot of people. But I wanted to figure out how, like in school, obviously I cheated. I'm a high school dropout as well, by the way. I dropped out when I was 17 years old, a week after turning 17. So basically when I was like 16, but actually 17, my junior year of high school. And I started online business when I was 15. I was working at a golf course and I fucking hated it. I hated my life. My dad had just passed away. And like I was kind of at complete rock bottom, and I realized I was like, all these 50-year-olds around me that are screaming at me, I found it so pathetic. Like before that, I never really wanted to get rich. I never had that desire. Like the desire really hit when I was like 15, when I became conscious about it. And for me, I just wanted to learn how the universe worked a certain way. And I was doing online business from 15 to 17, made $0, trying to just like actually work for 12 hours a day. And I was like, what the fuck, this isn't working. So then I started just like looking up stuff, like basically like manifestation on YouTube, and I started learning about this stuff, and I was like, oh, a lot of this stuff that I'm seeing is gay, this stuff's not real. Then I dug really deep. I found people that I actually liked, like people like Cara Young, Manny P. Hall, Neville Goddard, like those type of people. I started watching their content, reading a fuck ton of books, and there was a year period of my life where every day for 12 hours, I would do that instead of working on my business. I was obsessed with knowledge, and I figured out knowledge is power. So then that was the year where after that, like basically like 17, 18, when my life completely changed. Like completely. Went from probably making like 10K a month when I was 17 to like I made 150K in the span of 4 months when I was like about to turn 18 basically.
Holy shit.
And that's when like my whole life changed. So I figured out basically like that the universe works in a way where you can basically like bring anything that you want. Like basically like the universe, you have to look at it like there is a way to cheat and that you can literally bring everything down to your will. Like everything at the end of the day comes from bending reality and shaping your own reality and getting what you want out of life in that sort of sense instead of working hard, and that's kind of how I discovered it. And ever since then my life has changed, so yeah.
And I feel like we're kind of like brought up in a system that like very much discourages that. Like obviously you dropped out of high school. I think the whole school system like very much discourages bending reality to your own will. They basically tell you, go to a high school, go to college, get a degree, and kind of just go down like the normie kind of like bullshit path.
Yeah, the true test out of life is to see if you can get what you want. And the whole school system, the whole system that we're raised in, everything that we watch, everything that we see is told, like basically follow instructions. And I believe like a sign of high IQ and actually high intelligence is being able to do things out of life on the flow, like living, because people are always so obsessed with like, oh, how do I enter flow state to work hard? But flow state is a state of being. It's basically like, do you know how to flow with life? Like the whole point of life is like no one has anything figured out. Right now, I'm making a fuck ton of money. Do you think I still have my next 5 years figured out? No, but I'm gonna go with the flow and I'm gonna do whatever I want. If I get an idea that comes in my head tomorrow, like, oh, go start another business somewhere else, I'm gonna do so. But I truly think that people who like don't follow instructions in school are the ones that actually become more successful because they realize like, holy shit, I don't need instructions to live my life. All I need is my mind because everything is mental. All is mind. I'm sure maybe some of you, I don't know if your audience is into this type of content, but everything is mind. Like everything that has happened in your life is your fault. Every bad thing, every good thing, it's all your fault. It's not the devil's fault. It's not God's fault. It's your fault. Like, and when you start becoming conscious about the fact that every single thing that like happens in your life is from a thought of yours or from an emotion behind a thought of yours, that's when you realize like, wow, every thought I've ever had is what shaped my reality. So if you're living in like a life of despair and anxiety and that's all you're thinking about, that's what your life is gonna be. Now, if you're living in a state of abundance and you're living in a state of gratitude, that is, your life is going to reflect that. Like, the external world is a complete reflection of your internal. And yeah, when you become conscious about these things, your life completely changes. And that's what it was for me. And I was like, hold up, why would I even be in school? And obviously it was like craziest risk of all time
Right, yeah.
to just drop out. Like, my mom cried every single day.
Yeah.
And
Like in front of you?
yeah, all the time. Like,
Yeah.
she'd scream at me, she cried.
How
Obviously,
did that make you feel, like seeing that?
this sounds fucked up, but I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
You loved seeing your mom cry?
Yeah. Well, I love seeing women cry in general. No, I'm joking.
Oh my
No.
Base?
Other women than my mom. I hate to see my mom cry. But at the end of the day, I was like, her crying like this, like, I can't wait to look at my life in 4 years and tell her, be like, do you remember when you used to cry every single day worried? Now I have those conversations with her. I'm like, do you remember where you cried every single day about me dropping out of high school, and look where I'm at now? Yeah. When I dropped out, I wasn't in the state of mind like, fuck, I have a scarcity mindset, like, I'm screwed. Like, my whole mindset, and I didn't even post on social media at the time till like a year ago, it was, like, the mindset behind it that I had was, this is going to be the greatest story ever told.
Yeah.
My dad died at 15,
Yeah.
dropped out of high school at 17, and millionaire. I became a millionaire at 20 years old, and now I'm 21 years old. I knew it was going to be the greatest story, and that's the mindset that I had going into it, and that's exactly what happened. So
have you always had like this clear picture in your head that you're going to be super successful? Because for me, like, bro, ever since I was in kindergarten, I'd walk around the school like I fucking like owned the place. Like, I always knew I was going to be like that guy.
I didn't always know that I was going to be rich, but I always knew I was better than other people. I always had an ego. Everyone in even middle school, like 6th grade, would be like, Hudson thinks he's better than other people. Hudson's ego's too big. Even at teachers, like, I don't know why I had this state of mind that the teachers around me, like, are just below me. But I'd be like, you're teaching at a school, you make $50K a year, like, you're pathetic. Like, and I always thought that way. That's why I never listened to them. So, like, I definitely thought I was better than everyone, and a lot of people are going to think that's selfish. A lot of people watching this would think that's bad, but your ego at the end of the day is your identity. A lot of people have this misconception about ego, and they think that it's like a negative thing where, like, oh, you shouldn't let your ego, like, do this and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, if you look up the true definition, like, go type in Safari right now, I bet you don't know this. The definition you're going to see is it's your subconscious and conscious intertwining to figure out who you are. It's your identity. And my ego was not going to let me fail because I knew who I was as a person. I knew what I was worthy of. And being worthy is a real thing that I'll get into in a second, like basically feeling like you have to deserve success. We'll get into that in a second. But at the end of the day, your ego is what's going to hold you accountable of not failing. You have to know who you are. You have to have an identity. You have to know exactly who you are. And a lot of people don't. If I asked you the question right now, who are you? How would you answer it? Would you answer it with your name? A lot of people watching this probably would answer it with their name. They would be like, oh, I'm Hudson. But that's not who you are deep down. There's a lot more to you than that. So if you don't have an ego, you lack identity, you're the lowest consciousness ever, and you're not going to get anything that you want out of life.
Yeah. Why do you think society like tries to like humble people? Like society tries to like tell you like you shouldn't have a big ego, and like tries to like make you act more humble than you actually are.
I think society tells us a lot of things. Like basically, it's like the things that I was growing up, like that I was taught growing up was work hard, go get a nice paying job. Your ego's bad. Be humble. My mom still tells me this day, be humble. But every single thing that I ever listened to when I was younger, what I was brought up, raised, like taught, that shit didn't work. Me having an ego, me not being, I'm not saying don't be humble, because humble to me just means like, at the end of the day, like, I think true humbleness is like, I don't believe, like a lot of people are like, oh, as much as God gives you, you being rich, God can take it away. I don't think God made me rich. I don't think God makes anyone rich. I think it's all on you. There's basically a million versions of yourself. There's the homeless version, there's the rich version. I am the one that created the reality of me being rich. That's what it is. So like, I'm not like, oh, God made me rich. Maybe God put the desire in my head of me being rich. But at the end of the day, I think being humble is just like realizing that you can't, just because I'm rich, I'm not going to go around shitting on other people, because everyone can get here. And that's something that even me, because like we're talking about ego, that hurts my ego a little bit, being like, damn, a random person can be where I'm at because I went through hell to get to heaven, right? Like that's an analogy that I always say, like I went through hell to get to heaven.
Right.
And it's hard for me to say anyone can get here, but genuinely, like, as much as I was so retarded at 14, and now I feel like I'm really intelligent, I feel like I know a lot of things. So anyone can, like even the most retarded person, if they're a pothead sleeping on their mother's couch eating potato chips, like they still have a chance. Everyone has a chance at life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like true humbleness, is like realizing that anyone can get here. So I'm not gonna shit on anyone for that's not in my spot, because anyone can do it. And that hurts me to say that anyone can do it, but anyone watching this actually can get their dream life and live the life that they want to live. It's very attainable and it's very easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you say you have to go through hell to get to heaven. What was kind of like that hell for you, if you want to like dive into like what your hell was?
Obviously my father passing away. I'll go really deep into that. My dad overdosed on opioids, and I was actually at a high school party, and I got a phone call from my mom, and she's like, "Your dad has no pulse." This is the worst story of all time. It sounds like it's straight out of a movie.
It's actually unbelievable.
And what happened was, me and my dad got in a fist fight. I know the date. I'm not gonna say the date, but I know the exact date. I know the exact time. We got in a fist fight because my dad. A lot of people would say, "Oh, he was abusive. He was this. He was that." I think my dad just made me tough. Other people looking at it, they'd probably say you had an abusive father hitting you and shit like that. But we got in a fist fight. He's like a 230-pound man. Obviously, he's gonna beat the fuck out of me. And that was the first time I've ever went a week without speaking to my dad. And after we got in a fight, my mom walked in the house, and I was still hitting my dad in the back of the head because my dad wasn't gonna hit me in front of my mom. He always like tried to keep it private. Sometimes he'd do it, but if my mom didn't know about it, he didn't obviously want to like show that he's fucking beating his son to his wife. And they had marriage problems and stuff like that too. Like, I wouldn't say I grew up in a broken home from the age of 0 to 12, but from 12 to 15, definitely, it was chaos in my house. And I think a lot of the chaos, being able to like transmute it into fuel, helped me a lot. But the last thing I ever told my dad was, you could drop dead and die right now and I wouldn't give a fuck. And I don't know what possessed me to say that. I'd never told my dad like, "Oh, I hope you die." I'd never say shit like that in my life. This is where like I kind of look at it, I'm like, damn, that had to have been not like a sign from something, but everything happens for a reason I believe in, and I think everything happens perfectly if you believe it to be that way. There's some people that take life, like if they would have went what I went through, which I'll finish the story and then I'll get into that. So basically that was the last thing I said to him. He looked at me, he said, "You're a pussy," which is like hilarious because I live my life by that now. I'm like, don't be a pussy. Like that's like what, I'm like, what did my dad teach me? He taught me to be tough and don't be a pussy, right? So it's like, get what you want of life, be selfish, do whatever, don't be a pussy, right? So we didn't talk for a week, and then I get that phone call, and then he had took a trip to Louisiana. I lived in Texas at the time, and we had to drive 4 hours and go to Louisiana. He had no pulse. They shocked him back to life, but he was brain dead. Then 3 days later, they took the ventilators off of him because they were keeping him alive through however that shit works, I don't know. And then he died in front of me. Like, I watched the thing go down, and I remember sitting there, and I wasn't crying. Everyone around me, my grandma, my dad's 2 brothers, both of my sisters, my mother, all crying. They're all holding hands and crying, and I'm in the corner and I'm sitting there, and I was so like, not like detached, but like depersonalized from reality. And the only thing I thought of was, it's time to become the man. And I don't know what gave me that mindset shift. I never thought like that before, but that's the only thing I thought of, is like, it's time. That was the one thought. I wish I could have like a cooler thing that I thought in my head, but it was,
Cool as fuck, though.
it's time to become the man. And that's what it was. That was like hell for me. It was basically like having to get through that, having to watch my mom cry every day, having to watch my sister go through like, my dad didn't make a lot of money. He probably made $10K a month, which is not bad at all. Like he did good for himself, I guess, middle class, but he spent all of his money. Like he left my mom with nothing. Actually, he left my mom in debt. And my mom works at a school. She's like the, what's it called, principal secretary or something like that. She makes $24K a year. So my mom was gonna be fucked when it comes financially. My sister's fucked. Everyone relied on my dad. So I was like, I have to step it up. And having that for like 2 years of my life kind of fucked my head up. But then I started looking at it from a mindset like, how can I use this to fuel me? Like, how can I use this and transmute it to make me a better person? And that's the path that I went down. Yeah. But that was hell for me. And I believe every single person has to go through something negative to get something positive. Like right now, if you're going through like absolute hell, you have to realize that there's better things coming. And that's the mindset that you have to have going into it, is like better things are soon to come, and that you're gonna learn a lot from it and become a whole lot better like person from it. Yeah. And I do believe too, that the darkest things in our life make us the best people. And if you can go through the darkest things with a smile on your face like I did, saying it's time to man up, saying that basically, time to become the man, I have to do what I want with my life and get what I want out of life now. Like, I went at it from a state of gratitude. Like, okay, let's be brutally honest. If my dad was in my life now, would I be where I'm at? I wouldn't. Yeah. It was the best thing that ever happened to me looking back on it, and that sounds insane to say, but genuinely that was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me. Yeah. And that's the mindset that I went into it. I said, not only me dropping out of high school, like the greatest story ever told, but obviously my dad dying too. That's a pretty cool story. It's like, that was the start of the arc. And I went through something so dark, so negative, with a positive outlook on life. And imagine God putting you through the worst things, even though I don't believe, obviously, like, I believe all is mine and everything happens from us, but it's not like, oh, a lot of people that I've had this conversation with, they're like, damn, you kind of like manifested your dad dying. Okay, I don't know if we have that much fucking power. I believe we have a lot of power. We have a soul. We have the spirit of God inside of us. We can do a lot of cool things. But that much power to the point where my dad died, like obviously like, I don't think I did that. That's insane to say. So it's like, God put me through the most negative thing, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, put me through the worst things. Imagine if God can look at you going through the worst shit in life with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you are someone that is worthy of getting what you want out of life rather than being in a state of despair. And you have to feel like you deserve exactly what you want out of life. A lot of people talk about manifestation, and I'll get into this in a second. But a lot of people talk about manifestation, they're like law of attraction, and they say like, oh, you have to basically just like say, I am rich in your head. No, you have to feel like you deserve to get rich. You're not just gonna constantly be able to just think about getting rich and you're magically gonna get rich. You have to feel every single day like you are someone that is worthy of like getting success, and that you have to feel like you deserve it.
Yeah.
That's the true law of attraction. Feeling like you deserve to get what you want out of life.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking a little bit like off camera. You're saying like you had like a dream recently. We're talking about like where you go when you die, and you're saying like you had like a dream like with your dad. I was
Yeah.
like, I kind of like wish I was like vlogging that because like
Yeah.
I got the chills when you're like.
Yeah,
talking about
I was getting the chills talking about it too.
it. Yeah. If you want to like go into like what that was.
Yeah, I had a dream. It was like 3 weeks ago. I went back. I live in Miami. I left Miami. I went to visit my mom in my hometown for 2 weeks, and I had a dream that like my dad needed me to pray for him. And I'm Christian, but not in the same way that a lot of people. I'm not a modern day Christian that's like, oh, the whole point of life is to be a good person. I believe that the point of life is fulfillment, to get what you want out of life. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be a bad person, but I don't believe that me holding doors for people is gonna get me into the afterlife or heaven or whatever you want to call it. But I had this dream that my dad like was calling, like, and I could feel it in my heart too, like how like, I don't know, like I'm getting the chills talking about it now, but it was basically like him calling out for help, like, Hudson, please pray for me, Hudson, please pray for me, Hudson, please pray for me. And in my head, it's like, I had like this idea in my dream, like this thought that he was like fighting like demons and that he needed like help. And I woke up and then I immediately went outside and I prayed for him. And
Yeah. I'm getting the chills again, bro.
I know, so was I. It's so weird too, because I haven't dreamed about my dad in years.
Yeah.
So it's like now I have a dream about my dad telling me to pray for him and stuff. That's why like I'm always so curious about like what happens after death.
Yeah.
Which I guess isn't really a good thing to talk about or to focus on. Like what happens after death. Like no, what the fuck? I don't want to have
Here
any
now.
negative thought ever. Like you have to live in the present. Like anything that you want out of life, it has to be in the present.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get off this topic because I'm kind of like fucking getting the chills and chirping now.
Yeah, fair enough.
But everything is in the present moment. Like we shouldn't think about after death. We shouldn't be obsessed with any of those topics. You have to be obsessed with getting what you want out of life because that's true fulfillment. And it has to be in the present. Like you can't say, oh, I will be rich in the future. You have to say, no, I am rich now.
Yeah.
Like that's the version of yourself you have to be. Everything is in the present. And then obviously the future gets pulled into the present. But
1000%.
yeah, that's real manifestation.
Yeah. Yeah, bro, I literally got chills both times you told me that story. Like, I know you want to get off the topic, like, I guess one final question. Would you say that that's, like, actually, like, your dad, like, actually speaking to you there? Or do you think that's just, like, a sign from God? Like, what do you think that dream actually is?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know what that could mean, having a dream of someone, because I do believe the first thing, actually, it's crazy. We can get into dreams and stuff. The first thing that ever made me go down this whole esoteric rabbit hole was dreams. I kept having the same dream of me on fire, like hurting people. Like I could go up and hug, like always, you know, like what's that, like that superhero that's like in flames? What is that, Fantastic Four?
Fuck, I don't know.
It's like Fantastic Four, I think. The guy like has flames, his name's Johnny, something like that, I don't know. But that's like, I would always have the same dream over and over. And it would be me in flames, and it would go around, and it'd be me like hugging someone, and they would, not like a nice hug, like me going like this, and I would be killing people on fire. And I got so obsessed, I was like, I have to know what this means. So I went down, first I found like Sigmund Freud, that shit's ass. Then I went to Carl Jung's dream analysis, that was good. And I realized the dream meant a lust for power, because I felt my whole life that I was powerless for my dad, like always held power over me. I felt like I was powerless, like never seen, like I didn't have money when I was a kid, obviously. So I always felt not like, I mean, I always felt that I was better than other people, but I always like craved some sort of power, and that's what the dream was. It was a lust for power, that literally is what when I figured this stuff out, that's when I was like, I have to get rich as fuck, and I have to start posting on social media. Because at the end of the day, it's like, that sounds like a bad thing to say, like, oh, you want lust for power? No, I want to have power. I want to have influence. I want to be better than other people. That's true motivation. That'll actually get what you want out of life. Not, oh, I want a Lamborghini. We were talking about that earlier. Like, you being like, oh, I want a Lamborghini. Like, that's not real motivation. Real motivation is dark motivation.
Yeah.
Wanting to have shit that other people doesn't have, that's something that'll truly fuel you, that a lot of people aren't willing to talk about, and they're not willing to accept the bad things about themselves. But that's turning the unconscious conscious. That was a bad thing in my head, wanting a lesser power. But you know what I did? I became conscious about it, and I used it as fuel, and that's alchemy. Like, so yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember, like, not being able to, like, afford shit. Like, I was in Las Vegas on a baseball trip when I was, like, 10. I remember, like, my one friend was, like, buying, like, whatever he wanted.
At 10 years old.
Yeah, because he, like, did YouTube, so he could buy whatever he wanted. And I remember I couldn't. And I remember, like, literally went home. I'm, like, 10 in Vegas. I'm supposed to be having, like, a great time.
Yeah.
I cried myself to sleep.
At 10?
At 10. I'm
Damn,
like,
bro, you...
I'm like, bro, he's, like, buying Yeezys and shit. Like, we're with the whole baseball team. I'm like, bro, I want to be that guy that's, like, able to afford that shit.
Yeah.
And, like, bro, everybody's, like, having a good time laughing. Like, why did that affect me so much that he could buy it and I couldn't?
Yeah.
Nobody else gave a fuck.
Yeah, that is a weird thing sometimes. Like, why you? Do you ever think that to yourself and have the answer to that? Like, why you out of everyone?
Yeah, I'm not.
Do you think
sure.
Do you think you were chosen this way, or
do you think that there is like selected people from God for like higher purposes, or not?
I used to be like, oh, this is my purpose. Like, there is some people selected, but yeah, I think some people are given certain gifts than others. That's a genetic thing at the end of the day. Like me being able to be a good speaker, you as well.
Yeah.
That is a genetic gift. So definitely there is certain things that people have over other people.
Yeah.
Like some people are faster than me. So go fucking, go race.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. But yeah, I do think some people are selected. So I do think that some people are chosen by God.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone still has a chance. Like I might had an advantage over you by just like, actually, no. Did I have an advantage or did everyone start at the same point? I don't know.
You had more of a drive. Like, you had...
I had more of a drive,
dark
but
motivation is
I'm the one that made that drive become reality,
True.
right?
Some people just, like, become fucking losers if some traumatizing shit happens to them.
Exactly. Most people would go down the route of drugs and despair and all that stuff. I used it as fuel, right?
Yeah.
Like, I transmuted every single bad thing into something positive out of my life. But I ask myself that question pretty frequently, actually, like, why me out of everyone? And I definitely do think that it was my purpose to do what I do now. And I think I'm on a really good path. But yeah, at the end of the day, you do have to ask yourself, like, damn, why you? If you have the desire in your head, like, you have to get it done because that is the purpose of life. That is the point of life, like fulfilling your desires. Like, if you say, would you say your desire was from God?
Absolutely, yeah. Like,
so it's like,
would it be from?
so if you're a good person your whole life and you pray and you worship God and you go spread the gospel or whatever, I know you're not Christian or you're not like you don't identify to any religion, but let's say there's someone that's like Christian and they think that's what's going to get them to heaven, being a good person, but then they have a desire they didn't fulfill. At the end of the day, if I'm living in sin and I'm doing not the best things, but I'm fulfilling a desire that God gave me, I think I'm more worthy to go to heaven than someone that is not fulfilling their destiny is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you're using the talents that God gave you. Like, if you waste your talents, you're kind of just like spitting in God's face.
Yeah, so what do you think the purpose of life is?
I think the purpose is, like, get what you want out of life and, like, become, like, recognize your full potential.
The best version of yourself.
Yeah, like, God gave you gifts to become a certain person. If you, like, don't become that person, you're basically just, like, spitting in God's face.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think the whole point of life is fulfillment, to get what you want out of life.
Yeah.
And that sounds bad. Like, oh, how could the point of life be to become rich?
Yeah.
Well, that version of yourself, you have to think of it, it's not the money that I'm happy about and that I'm fulfilled about. It's the version of myself that I became in order to be able to make millions of dollars, right? That's how you have to look at it. But how do you think we become, I'll answer it in my way, how do you think we become the best version of ourselves?
How do I become the best version? I think, like you said, dark motivation is huge for that.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was just kind of like people, like, shitting on me for, like, my content. Like, I think, like, it would go anywhere. And I don't know why I took that so personally. Even, like, the whole Vegas thing, like, bro, I'm 10 years old. I'm supposed to be having, like, the best time of my life. I'm in fucking Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, crying myself to sleep because my ego's hurt that I can't afford certain shoes, you know?
That is crazy.
It is fucking insane. Like, maybe I'm, like, weird for that. Maybe that, like, sounds like gay or whatever. But I don't know. I think it is, like, dark motivation could definitely drive you to, like, recognize your potential for sure. I feel like a lot of people, like, just don't have, like, I don't know. A lot of people, like, have, like, I guess, like, more of an easier life. So they, like, don't have, like, some fuck shit. Like, you've gone through some shit that, like, is very, very unique. Like, nobody's gone through what you've gone through.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, you have a crazy story.
That's true, yeah. I think the way that someone becomes the best version of themselves is, like, you have to realize, like, let's use you as an example, Tyson. How the best version of yourself, how would he walk, how would he act, how would he behave, how would he speak, how would he move around in life, how would he have conversations, and all those things, that's what you have to do in the present moment. Yeah. So anyone watching this that's like, damn, how can I become the best version of yourself? Everything that I just listed, you have to do that in the present moment. How would the millionaire version of yourself speak? How would he walk? How would he talk? How would he behave? And when you do those things, it starts coming down into the present. Like, the future gets pulled into the present. That's how I think we become the best versions of ourselves. Basically, just like identifying how we would be
It works the other
And
way
then-
too. Like if you tell yourself you're a loser, if you live like a loser, like law of attraction goes both ways. You
Easily.
can manifest your dream life.
Yep.
Or you could also manifest being a bum. Like, bro, I used to feel like a loser. I'd smoke weed with my friends, like watch some bullshit on
Same.
TV and do fucking like fuck all with my night.
Yeah.
And I felt like a loser.
Yeah.
Right? And like I was.
And then you're in a state of being a loser. Therefore,
Exactly.
what's your reality? A loser.
Exactly.
If your internal is a loser, your external is going to be a loser.
1000%.
And then you're going to attract loser people. But I hate that when people think manifestation is just for a good. Like, no, every bad thing in your life. When I was talking about earlier, all is mine. Like, no, you manifest bad shit in your life too. And the thing, when you become, like, let's say you have manifested bad shit in your life, anyone watching this, when you become conscious, you're like, damn, every bad thing I have manifested myself. When you become conscious about that and you become aware of it, that's when your life changes, because then you realize that you have the power to do the opposite, to manifest good in your life. And that's like the first step of like awakening the soul, basically.
Yeah.
So that's a very good topic.
1000%.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Do you think like a lot of people just don't have a clear picture? Like for us, like we always knew that we're gonna be something big. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, like that's why they go to college. That's why they listen to their parents, because they don't have that self-belief. Like they don't have that image in their mind. Like I always saw myself becoming rich and famous.
Yeah.
I always like felt famous. Like I walk around elementary school like I'm the man. I felt like famous.
Facts, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. As corny as it sounds, like being popular and shit, like
Yeah.
I was definitely like popular in
Yeah,
school,
me
so
too.
I always felt like
I
I
was
was the shit
class
as well.
clown.
Yeah. No, so
Yeah.
was I. But no, the people that like just sit and follow the path, I don't think they have it in them, and I think they're also too scared to go out and get it. And I think a lot of people, let's say they're like 70% better than the average person, they still won't go after it because they're scared of their potential. Because people that we look at that go to college, they're generally just scared to chase their dreams because their potential scares them. It's like, dude, the path that we went down, it's not an easy path.
Not at all.
I would argue it's harder than college.
1000%.
It's harder than the other shit.
1000%.
And a lot of people see that and they're like, damn, what would it take for me to actually become the best version of myself and for me to get rich and for me not to go to college? It scares them so much and they don't think that they're the type of person that can get it. They don't realize how much power that we have, and they don't realize that, like, what do we have in us? It's a soul. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like what you were talking about earlier, spitting in God's face.
Yeah.
Dude, God gave me a soul. I'm gonna get what I want out of life, and I know that I can accomplish it no matter what. And those people don't have that. They don't have the self-belief, and they also are too scared to get what they want because they're scared what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
And
So they're
then,
basically just being pussies.
yeah, fear. It's a fear at the end of the day. Like every single person has a fear, and you just have to get over it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a big enough why to get over it, then you're fucked. And that's where
Yeah.
the dark motivation comes in.
1000%.
It's like, do you have a strong enough why to get what you want out of life? I definitely did. And a lot of people don't because they were given an easy life.
Yeah.
Like, let's say their parents grew up pretty wealthy, making like $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
What's their why gonna be? But I think you can always find a why out of anything. Let's say, for example, their girlfriend cheated on them. That's even a big enough why.
1000%,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Every single person watching this, you have a why. It's not like someone doesn't. Like, you can find anything that you want to get out of rich. But I think people focus on the material things about getting rich, and that's why they don't. They're like, oh, well, yeah, getting a Lamborghini would be cool. But is that something
Yeah.
that's going to truly motivate
You're
them?
not getting out of
No.
bed to
Look at the
chase a Lambo.
look at the bad shit that's happened to you. Literally, look at your family problems. Look at the trauma that you have.
Yeah.
That's the shit that's actually going to get you rich, and that's what's going to build your why as a person,
Like,
right?
Instead of seeing a Lambo, think of like what the other people will
Would think
of
about
seeing
you in a Lambo,
Lambo.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there always is a strong enough why, and the strongest why is being better than other people. Why the fuck would I not want to be better than other people? Why would I want to be average? And a lot of people are too scared to admit that to themselves, so I think that's what separates the people that aren't successful from the people that are successful. I think we just became conscious about it at a very young age, which I think definitely, I made a TikTok about this. I want to see what you think about this. I said the brutal IQ pill.
I saw
And it's
that.
like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are say like success is a genetic thing, and that like basically like the people that know they're gonna get rich, like it's a genetic thing, which I agree with that 50-50, because like at the end of the day, I do believe me to be high IQ. I have taken an IQ test. I'm definitely fucking 99% better than everyone.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, even someone low IQ can still be successful. We've seen that day and day. But what do you think about the IQ pill?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm pretty sure I scored like low on one of those because
Really?
I didn't know what the fuck it was, like shapes and shit. I don't know. I did
Yeah.
it in like psychology class, and I did not get like that great of a result. But I think that like getting what you want out of life is the highest like determination of like high IQ.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think so too. I think that's a true test. Well, this is actually from one of my friends that passed away, Ben Bader, rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
He made a TikTok that went really viral, and it was basically the true test out of life is to see what you get out of life, right? That's the truth. He said the true test of intelligence is to get what you want out of life, and I 100% agree. If you're so smart, why the fuck don't you have what you want out of life? If you're so smart, why aren't you rich? If you're so smart, why aren't you happy? That's what it really is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think that the people that are successful from the people that aren't, it's like we became conscious about the fact that like this is how the world works, everything we've been talking about, and those people didn't. And I believe anyone can become conscious about it, and there's a lot of external factors that hold us back from it, but that's when you have to use your soul to get what you want out of life and really realize that, like, we aren't just some humans trapped here that just, like, basically, like, are powerless. Like, we have a lot of fucking power. If you go from the Bible, you see the Spirit of God dwells inside, the kingdom of heaven is within. Like, we have some sort of peace in us that lets us create and get what we want out of life, and, like, when you become conscious about these things, that's when life completely changes.
Yeah. Like, bro, it is scary to chase your dreams, but, bro, that fear is kind of what makes you feel alive. Like, bro, I'm 18 years old. I'm all by myself in fucking New York. Like, a month ago, I was all by myself in Miami. Obviously, that's a little bit scary, like, just, like, leaving my parents' house. And a lot of people never do that because out of fear.
Yeah.
But that fear kind of makes you feel alive in a sense.
That's the thing. People use fear as a negative. It makes them stop. But if you can transmute it, like, do you know what alchemy is? It's basically, like,
changing states.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So it's like, well, it's transmuting lead into gold, but that's like a metaphor. Basically, like, to me, it's like transmuting the negatives into the positives.
Yeah.
It's like, what? How can I use all the negative things that come to me? Any negative emotion that I feel, how, instead of living in that state, can I transmute it to basically be in a positive?
Yeah.
So fear for you, like, yeah, it is a lot of fucking fear, but guess what? You're going to use it to motivate you.
1000%.
And then, yeah. I think it's been like 30 minutes, but if you have anything interesting to ask or go off of, we can keep yapping and stuff.
Yeah, I have nothing that's, like, necessarily off the top of
Anything,
my
because
head.
I know I'd seen your content and then you had seen my content before. So, like, anything from my content that you've seen that you kind of, like, thought, like, helped you a lot or that you learned from, ask me about that, or we could talk about that or something like that. Like, what you thought was the most interesting, which I'm sure, I don't know what video you found me from.
The one at the LA house. That one that, like, really went viral.
You'll see this when God knows you're ready to get your dream life.
Yeah,
that
I
one.
think so,
Yeah. That's
I just think it's crazy that, like, you found my content and I found yours, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how it's, like, it's kind of like, I don't know if you want to say, like, God or the universe, but, like,
Well,
we kinda, like, cross paths for a reason.
Okay, I think God made the universe work this way, right? But I'm not saying God is the one that was like, oh, Tyson and Hudson are going to link up.
Yeah.
But God made the universe work this way where you attract who you are. So it's like the way that I am in the state of being that I'm in, I'm going to attract people around that. So if you have fucking losers around you and you know that you have losers around you, change your state. Because guess what? If you have losers around you, that means you are a fucking loser at the end of the day. So stop hanging out with losers, right? And I was, dude, when I was like 15 after my dad passed away, we had a friend group of like 15 people. Me and 5 of my friends cut every single one of them off, and I'm still friends with the other 4 people.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm still friends with them to this day. We cut off every single loser. You want to know why? We thought we were better than them. That sounds selfish. It sounds fucked up. But guess what? You have to be selfish to get what you want out of life. Would you agree that you have to be a narcissist and you have to be selfish to get what you want out of life?
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree?
Yeah.
Why
I mean,
not to the fullest?
I guess, like, people, like, could consider me, like, to be a narcissist, but I also, like, want to inspire people. Like, I wouldn't say, like, you're a narcissist either. Like, I would not say, like, you're a narcissist whatsoever, you know?
No, I think a lot of people, like, take the term narcissist way too extreme.
You care about other people. A true narcissist, like, just doesn't give a shit about other people.
I care about other people and I care to inspire other people, but I always put myself first, which makes me selfish, and people would still say that's narcissistic to put myself first. I put myself above my mother. I sacrificed spending time with her. I broke up with girlfriends. I did all this shit. That is the most selfish thing that you could ever do. And people wouldn't say, like, some people would say that's narcissistic, that I put myself over everyone and I made some people around me, like, not suffer. I didn't make my mom suffer from not, like, having a bad relationship with her after my dad passed away to get what I want, but I realized in my head, I'm like, if I am around my negative mother for a year straight of my life, I'm not going to get what I want out of life. So you know what I did? I separated myself. And that sounds really selfish to do. But what's more selfish? Doing that and spending time with her and then sacrificing being able to provide for her? Or is it more selfish to do what I did to where, like, yeah, I sacrificed a year of time, but then guess what? Now I'm able to provide for her and shit. So I feel like, honestly, I went down the non-selfish route.
Yeah.
But you do have to be selfish in order to make it. You have to put yourself above everyone.
Yeah.
You have to believe you're better. I think a lot of people would say it's narcissistic to believe that you're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a negative thing. I don't. I think every human should believe they're better than other people.
Yeah.
But what was I just saying when I was just talking? I talked about something that I wanted to mention. It wasn't being better than other people. Oh, it was the narcissist thing. Oh, it was sacrifice, actually. I want to talk about sacrifice because this is like a very hot topic on the internet. Everyone like knows, like, oh, you have to sacrifice friends, you have to sacrifice certain things to get what you want out of life. Look at it like this, for example. Define the word sacrifice. It means like basically losing something to gain something. So, you know, like, let's talk about human sacrifice. These elite billionaires that do these sacrificial rituals to get what they want out of life.
Yeah.
Sacrifice, and I'm not saying like, basically success needs sacrifice. I'm not saying they're right for doing those sacrifices at all. That's fucking ridiculous. They're fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
But basically success needs some sort of sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice something, you are not willing to get the thing that you want out of life. Like, God wants to see you go through hell to get to heaven. So sacrifice a bunch of shit, put yourself in a negative spot to get what you want out of life, and then you do. And that's it. I think we could wrap it up here. I think that was fire.
1000%.
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
go.
bro. W Pod.